welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be going through how I prepped for my Viva. So you'll be seeing a few snippets from the next few weeks, just how we are preparing for it. Good morning. It's Monday the 24th of June and it's study day and my Viva is in 10 days. It's next Thursday. So we really do need to get on and do some good prep work today. I'm going to be carrying on reading through all my questions that I've put through and hopefully trying to answer some of those questions and just do some prep that way. I also do have a to-do list that I'm going to try and work through. So I'll talk you through my to-do list. This is my to-do list. Some of them I have started doing, so I can get my trusty pen and mark it off. But lots of them I absolutely haven't. So we do really need to get on with it. And this to-do list I wrote this to-do list, I started it when we had some teaching with the course director and a senior research tutor all about how to prep for Viva. And it was a really useful session, actually. They suggested a lot of different things that we could try and some of the things that we could be asked and what the process would be like. And it was really helpful and I felt far less anxious afterwards. So on the top of my to-do list is to read about my internal and external examiners' backgrounds. So what their research is in, their latest research, that sort of thing. Usually your examiners will have something to do with what your research has been. So yes, that will be really good. So I'm going to try and do a sheet on each of them just to kind of understand their background a little bit. Then I'm also going to be able to write a summary for each project. So really clear what the aims were for each project. And then I'm going to go through as you can see on here, hopefully all these little post-it notes are all the way through the thesis. And then I will answer the questions. So all the yellows are questions, any pink ones are corrections, and any blue ones are sort of other questions that might come up that probably won't come up, but might. And then the green ones are answers. So I've got my answer ones ready to go. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm also going to think about the limitations for each project. And think about what I've written is limitations for each project and why they aren't too bad. So some sort of spin, I guess, or just an understanding of why the limitations, they are limitations, but they're not, meaning that I need to redo the project, for example. Then I've got why have we chosen the measures that we've chosen? Why did we not consider alternatives? And then a list of corrections that we've noticed. So this was a recommendation by the course. They suggested that we keep a list of corrections that we've noticed, and then we take it into the Viva and we say, look, these are the corrections we've noticed. There's a typo on page 79. This should have been this, and there you go. Because sometimes you may get no corrections if you have kind of given them that. They'll be like, okay, fine. If it's just typographical stuff, then they may be fine. But yes. Then we've also got identifying the questions I fear the most and preparing for them. Because in a week, so next Monday, I've got a prep session with one of my supervisors to just kind of, go through some of the questions that I'm absolutely terrified are going to come up. Then I want to I've kept logbooks for each of the projects, so I'd quite like to print those and just have them with me just in case I needed to use them to flick back to. So I'm going to try and do that as well. And then I also want to look for new papers published on the topic. Just if there's been anything recently, in the last year, sorry, if there's been anything in the last year, that would be really useful. I also want to summarize the connecting narrative. So we have to write a reflective narrative at the end, just kind of, showing how these things are connected and some reflections that we have from each of them. So I'm going to try and do that. Then also I've got some questions to consider that they gave us some advice on. So which parts of the thesis are you proud of? How can you express this? Which parts of the thesis do you want to highlight? And practice working these points into your answers, like in the way that you're going to answer some questions. Also, there are some other questions like, why did I choose this topic for research? Summarising the main points. Did your study turn out as expected? I.e., did it meet the hypothesis? How do you see this field developing over the next few years? What do you think are the most interesting findings in this thesis and why? Those sorts of things might come up. And then the other thing that I really do need to spend time on is thinking about different types of validity and the threats to validity within the projects, because that is something that the course are that is one of the things they're really looking for, as I think many courses are. And then also a recommendation from somebody that had done a PhD before was write a list of what I would want to get out of my Viva. So what actually do I want to get out of it? Because it's not just oh my God, I'm going to be examined and it's really scary. Actually, do I want to learn about where I could have gone, done things better in my research? Probably. So that will be a helpful thing to put on that list. So that does seem like quite a long to-do list. That took me 5 minutes to tell you about it. I mean, that is quite a long to-do list, but it's okay. Some of them I've already started doing. Some of them we can start doing already. So yes, let's get on with it. So in terms of what a Viva involves then, and I may be able to tell you a little bit more after I've had my Viva, but a Viva tends to involve people reading the research, your two examiners reading the research and asking you questions about it. And they always talk about Vivas being a defense of your thesis, and that always sounds really scary to me. So I prefer to think of it as a bit of a chat about it. And our course in first year, we had to do project approval sessions. So we had to take each project through a panel with a proposal saying this is what we want to do. This is how it meets the DClin, competencies. This is how it meets the university requirements for research, those sorts of things. And they always talk about it as a mini Viva. So actually, I found that process very helpful in making my research better. And I think Viva will hopefully, I could be eating my words at the end of this video when I'm crying about it, but fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Hopefully going into the Viva, and if there are corrections to make, good actually, because it means when I submit them for publication, then they will be, there will be some real strength behind it as well. So yeah. The Viva can last anywhere between sort of 1, wishful thinking, and 3 hours. I think PhD Vivas can be a lot longer. A friend of mine, hers was 4 hours, but the DClin ones don't tend to be that long. Partly because there is the research is significant on the DClin, but PhDs they're like huge books of research. So we do have, it's slightly different. Okay. It's Monday afternoon and I have gone through my to-do list. Hopefully, well, you can't really see, it still looks about the same, but I actually have crossed some things off, so that is very exciting. Things have been crossed off, and now the stuff that's left, I need to go through my limitations for each project and talk about them, basically, and understand why they are limitations, but also why they are not perhaps the end of the world and it means my research is invalid. I need to think about different types of validity and threats to validity. And I need to consider some of the bigger questions and write a list of the questions that I fear the most and start preparing for them. Interesting that those are the things that I'm probably most nervous about and therefore have not done. Whereas doing a really pretty mind map for all the things that I want to get out of my Viva, I managed to do that one. That's my own little bit of avoidance. So I am going to get on with it. I am going to do it. But it's the end of the day and I'm going to go and celebrate a birthday and then possibly do some more tonight. If not, it'll be later in the week. So we are now moving on the train. I've just been sat at the station for 2.5 hours on my way to the second day of the research conference that I am presenting at. Although I'm not presenting till 4, so it's fine, but I am a day delayed. But it does mean that I've had a chance to do quite a lot of work on Viva prep, which is unexpected because I thought I was going to have to do some this weekend. So yeah, as I said before in lots of stuff, I actually quite like working on trains. So I'm having a nice morning, and they were giving free tea 1st of July. My Viva is on Thursday, the 4th of July. So we're really getting close now. And it's 10 to 8 in the morning and I'm meeting with one of my project supervisors at 9. So I just want to do a little bit of prep on that project to kind of go, yeah. What I'm doing is I'm writing a list currently of the questions I'm most scared of to try and make sure I have good answers for them. Because I think my supervisor will be able to help me with that, hopefully. So yes, I'm right. Yeah, I think maybe I'm a bit more anxious than maybe I would have been an hour ago. But that's only because I'm writing the scary questions. Anyway, so I'm going to do that for a little bit today. And I've got today and I've got Wednesday to do prep work on it before my Viva on Thursday. So these are the last 2 days of prepping for my Viva. And then we can get on and do the corrections afterwards. But anyway, let's carry on prepping. I just met with my supervisor and I am feeling really good. Really, really good. I wish my Viva was like now because I feel really confident. I feel really positive. I know what I'm doing. No, I do. I do know what I'm doing. It's going to be great. Yeah, and it's just helpful to chat to somebody really experienced with Vivas, really experienced with, you know, research, with doctorates, with DClinPsy. Yeah, I think it'll be okay. It's going to be okay. And I've got loads of time to prepare. It's going to be great. Good morning. It's Viva day. It is, what time is it? It's 8:10. My Viva is at 10:30 and I am doing it from home, which is nice. I'm much more comfortable at home. I may have said this earlier in the video. I'm much more comfortable at home. Being in my own environment, I feel much better than if I was in. Anyway, so I'm going to sort all the animals out as I do. And then I'm going to sit down and just do some last minute prep. May well do that in the garden because it is really, really sunny. So yes, we may well do that. The things that I'm going to prep, I will talk you through in a minute after I've done the animals. It's 8:30. It is 2 hours before the Viva. And I'm not going to use the whole 2 hours to just sit and prep because I don't think that's actually helpful. But all I'm going to do is go through each project and I'm going to make sure I can give a good summary of each project and feel comfortable doing that. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to have a quick check through my appendices and just check that I know what's there and that it should be there, just in case they go there. But that's what I'm going to do this morning. So nothing too crazy. I have 6 minutes until my Viva. I've got that level of anxiety where I'm like, I just want to run away. Just thinking of all the things I could do to try and get out of it, which is silly. Because we will be fine. It's going to be okay. We've done an internet test. It's going to be fine. I've got my trusty folder here with all my stuff in it that I need. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. I'm really telling myself that, not you. But yeah, hopefully it'll be okay. And I will update you afterwards. So wish me luck. So I've just done my Viva. Spoiler, I cried at the end. Mainly because they were being really lovely. But yeah, it was 2 hours, 10 minutes, which is quite a long time. Although it went really quickly, like it was 40 minutes on 40 minutes on my review, 45 on my service improvement project and 45 on my theory-driven research project. So yeah, I am now just waiting. I've got about 10 minutes. I am just waiting for my feedback. I'm expecting majors, because there are some additional things that we need to do and look at. It's fine. A pass is a pass, like corrections are corrections. It's fine. So yes, I'm just waiting to be called back in to get my feedback. Guys, I passed my Viva. I'm gonna cry again. Yeah. So I passed with majors, which is fine, because we have to change a bit of our analysis, which is absolutely, completely legit. Yes, so I am really, really pleased. My Viva is done. It was, 2 hours, 10 minutes.
and the feedback afterwards is really lovely. And that's actually the thing that made me cry, is the kind comments. But yeah, that is it. I've just done my DClinPsy Viva. Can't stop crying. Ah! And I finally got my reward. I do have a bottle of champagne to open later, but right now, just having a little gin. How exciting.